Good evening, students. Welcome to today's session, Chapter 4, Day 2. So, let us say good evening to all. So, the e-chocolate goes to Shivangini, then we have Darshan, Vrinda, S.K. Sahu, Harshit Jaiswal, Diksha, and Swati. So, good evening to all. I'd ask you to keep tag of any queries you have. So, if any queries, please do ask. Then we have Rajkumar Singh and Manisha has also joined. Any queries? Okay, so let us continue where we left from. So this was the topic we were on the last day, workflow diagram for e-commerce, and we just went through the process by which individual he or she is going to access a e-commerce portal. Then this topic we started risk and controls relating to e-commerce. So risk was one part. So let us run through it fast again. The first issue was privacy and security, quality issues, delay in goods and hidden cost, need to access internet and lack of personal touch, security, credit card issues, infrastructure and problem of anonymity. You don't know to whom are you talking to. So this itself is a big issue, big risk like that. Then the idea about how contract repudiation has to be done. What is repudiation? Repudiation is withdrawal of right to deny. So see, you need to understand that whenever you are doing a transaction in electronic mode, so there is going to be a buyer and a seller of the product. So buyer buys the product, he or she may have made a payment. So how this contract could be repudiated? Can seller repudiate the contract? So repudiation is basically the right to deny is withdrawn. You cannot repudiate. Okay, so it's a very important legal idea that needs to be created for success of e-commerce and related transaction. Then loss of authenticity of transactions, data loss or theft, duplication, attack from hackers, denial of service attack, we'll be talking, non-recognition of electronic transaction, lack of audit trail, and problem of privacy. So we'll just do a fast run through for each points. They are very, very important. We talked about a fast recap. First issue is privacy and security. I've told you that as Parliament has already passed the new bill on privacy and security. So please keep a tag of this whenever this privacy issue comes, even if it may not be updated in the module. But now because Parliament has already passed the bill, so whenever you write anything relating to privacy, I'll suggest that create a reference to the new law that has been passed out. It's a very important law. Then when you buy electronically, the issue of quality that we've talked about. Initially, 15, 20 years back when this delivery, e-commerce was in nascent stage, it was in its childhood stage, it was building itself. So there were issues of delay in supply. Now, the initial delay in supply were basically an understanding issue, the infrastructure issue. The e-merchants were also learning, realizing that how they can ensure that the supplies are timely made. I don't know whether you have read about that, but today, the fact is that all big e-merchants, you can talk about them, maybe Flipkart, Myntra, Amazon, other e-merchants also, they have all created dedicated warehouses in large cities across India. So today, most of their supplies they try to do from those dedicated warehouse. It's a good topic to learn and discuss. So based on data analysis, this where e-merchants know that in this state or this city, like each big city, they are going to have a dedicated warehouse outside the periphery of the city, so that all supplies to the city can be directly made from that warehouse. So it saves logistic costs, it saves the turnaround time is short, so they are able to supply to their customers as soon as the orders are received. So supply related delays have been reduced over a period of time. The entities have learned. Uh, now, so whatever is the committed day of supply, generally you get the product within that date. Some rare exceptions could be situations which may be out of the control of the vendor itself. Say heavy rainfall, we are in rainy seasons, lot of flooding is going on. That is then. Hidden cost used to be an issue when initially when this started, but now it has been reasonably been taken care of. That internet access, that is always a mandate. Lack of personal touch, we have talked about the example of buying mangoes online. Yes, this issue is relevant. It was relevant previously also. Security and credit card issues. Now, credit card is not the only mode of payment today. Multiple modes of payment are enabled, but the risk of misuse, fraudster gaining access to your individual data regarding payment is still there. So whenever you are making an online payment, you must keep yourself aware about the security that has to be built into system. Then infrastructure, the whole idea about doing online, and to whomsoever you are talking, you don't know who is on the cyberspace. It's really tough to identify to whom you are talking to. Problem of anonymity. So that issue is very critical. Anonymity means आप उसको जानते नहीं. The person is unknown. Then repudiation of contract. Repudiation is that buyer seller, the transaction is done. So buyer has paid. Buyer has paid the amount. So seller, who can repudiate the contract? Then lack of authenticity of transaction. Yes. Data loss or theft or duplication. Attack from hackers. Then denial of service attack. Denial of service attack is three words we talked about in previous chapter: confidentiality, integrity, availability. So denial of service attack is attacking the availability aspect, that when you are trying to get into system, you request for the system, but it is not available. That is denial of service attack. Then non-recognition of electronic transaction, that is a possibility. Lack of audit trail. I've told you again, keep a tag of this word, lack of audit trail. Whenever this word audit trail comes, just link it to the Ministry of Corporate Affairs circular about all companies need to maintain an audit software that is non-editable audit trail. Very, very important. And problem of privacy. Yes, that is there. So today's first part. Now let us see the query. We had first query put by Shivangini. What is a USP? Unique selling proposition. So Shivangini, USP is like any product or a service has a uniqueness associated with it. So when you buy that product, or when you recall a brand or recall the product, you associate that brand, that product with that idea, that concept. Like many products now, our Indian companies have become big multinational corporations. So when you buy, say, suppose you buy a butter, so you buy butter from the largest cooperative dairy, that is Amul. So associate butter with that. So that becomes a unique selling proposition. You buy a shoe from a branded store. So whenever you buy a shoe that is a branded, so you go to that brand because there is something unique and in that shoe itself. So that is unique selling proposition. Let me do it in Hindi. जब भी कोई कस्टमर, कोई ग्राहक किसी सामान या सर्विस को खरीदता है, तो वो उस सर्विस या सामान को किसी खास चीज से जोड़कर देखता है. A quality parameter, that is USP. Yes. So Ashit is saying, sir, your voice is different. Yes, I am having this. Actually, I am having a lot of cold, so the voice is changed today, Ashit. So that, in fact, what Harshita said, so it gives a good feedback that we have, means the system, whatever we are using, so it delivers the correct voice. So thank you, Harshit. So today it is going to be changed. I'm actually having a severe cold. Okay. Then, yes, Darshan. So when you are doing an information system audit, you do check this idea about security. Now, I'll name a word, Ankit Fadia, if you have read through the person. So Ankit Fadia, now he's probably in his late 20s or early 30s. Some 10, 15 years back, when he was a class 12th student, he wrote a book that became a worldwide bestseller on that topic. The book's heading was A Guide to Ethical Hacking. So this ethical hacking is basically you engage professionals who try to find loopholes, lacunas in your system. So that is a guide. That is how you evaluate the security breaches. So to that point, that within IS audit, how security is checked. So there are tools available, there are experts available who use that tool to identify any security breach. Yeah. Thank you, Arshit. Then USP is unique thing which makes you differ from other. Yes. So that is a unique selling proposition. Okay. Okay, let us carry that aspect. There is one more question that is, yeah, Darshan, repudiation means breach of contract. Yes. So repudiation, ideally repudiation means there is no right to deny. So if anyone repudiates, that means it is a breach of contract, and it has to be, whether repudiation is possible or not, it has to be defined in the contract. So it can be taken as breach of contract. Okay. Okay. So that is how you look at it. Then now this is important. So today's core focus will be on the law and related aspects. So internal control as defined in, so what we are now reading is the control aspect as defined in accounting and auditing is a process of assuring achievement of an organization's objective in operational effectiveness and efficiency, reliable financial reporting, and compliance with laws and regulations and policies. In an e-business environment, controls are necessary for all persons in the chain. Now, see, the whole idea is because risk is going to be multifaceted, multi-source from multi-location. So you need to keep controls. Now, I'm linking this paragraph to what you have already read in Audit Indian Companies Act, the idea that internal control establishment, internal control to be put in place is basically responsibility of those charged with governance, directors. So directors need to ensure that there are proper internal financial controls. Few of you must have read that section in Companies Act by the heading IFC, internal financial control. So it is responsibility of the management to have proper internal financial controls. When you have internal financial controls or internal controls, then what is the purpose? So the para defines the core purpose of having good controls in any organization. That includes ensuring operational effectiveness, efficiency, reliable financial reporting, compliance with laws, regulation and policies, and safeguarding of assets. I am adding one more point. So all these internal controls need to be put in place by any organization. When you are talking of system driven organizations which are using e-commerce platform, for them this becomes more pertinent, more important, because the risk that we just talked about, it's a global transaction. There are no boundaries to whom you are dealing with. Anonymity is there. You cannot keep a track of the person. The risk, because you are in cyber space, the risk may have different parameters. So it is important to have controls. Okay. So in an e-business environment, controls are necessary for all persons in chain. This includes controls for users, sellers, buyers, governments, network service providers, technology service providers, logistics service providers, and payment gateways. So we need controls for each of them. We are going to discuss each in detail. What I basically want, I want you to say, comment on what controls may be. So I'll be highlighting. So I want you to put what controls these people may be putting in place in terms of E. So I want you to write in chat at least one control from government aspect in e-commerce and one control from LSP, logistics service provider. So आप चैट में ये लिखकर बताएंगे कि भाई ये जो लोग हैं सरकार और लॉजिस्टिक सर्विस प्रोवाइडर, इनको किस तरह के कंट्रोल की जरूरत है. व्हाट कंट्रोल्स गवर्नमेंट एंड लॉजिस्टिक सर्विस प्रोवाइडर need to put in place in a e-business environment. So please say it in the chat. Okay. So good evening to all those who have joined late. Okay. So let us continue this one. Then users. So what I expect is the controls that government and logistics service provider need to put in place in an e-business environment. I want you to answer it in chat. We'll read through. Users. This is important to ensure that genuine user is using e-commerce and commerce platform. There is a risk if user accounts are hacked and hackers buy products and services. That is why today, whenever you register yourself first time on a mobile application or e-commerce platform, they ask you your email ID, they ask you your mobile number. Now, because government has allowed that these people on e-commerce platform, they can request government for validation of this information. So whenever you give your mobile number, there is a OTP validation, 4-digit, 6-digit OTP sent on your mobile to validate that you are the same person who is requesting access to that application. So a lot of user validation is done. That is what you call as KYC, know your customer. Then sellers, buyers, and merchant. This is very, very important. Please understand. So before we read what is given, we need to evaluate the risk that these people may be facing. So what is going to happen if a sellers or buyers or merchants data is hacked through, or someone is able to enter into that data? So these people need to have proper framework put in place to ensure success of business. Many e-commerce businesses have lost huge amount of money because they did not have proper controls put in place. So now where did they lose money? So they might have lost money if their payment gateways were not secured. Someone was able to hack into that payment gateway. They lost money because someone changed the product catalog, the pricing of the product. So this is a huge risk all these merchants, sellers, and buyers have. So they need to have control on their product catalogs, price catalogs. In fact, now today, with technology being there as it is, a lot of improvement has been there in this category of risk. But believe me, this risk exists today also, and hackers are able to misuse this risk to a phenomenal level today. So that awareness has to be there, that what risk you may be carrying if you don't control this properly. Then discounts and promotional schemes, product returns. You see, we had some association with an e-merchant. So one of the things that we found was the whole idea about keeping a track of this. It's a huge, huge risk. Let me share a practical case. I think it is there in the module also. It's a event that happened roughly, say, 7-8 years back. A person in a metro in India. So what he was able to do, what he did was that he would buy a new, he would send a request for a, say, iPhone. Now, so iPhone will be delivered to that person. So what he used to do, he used to open the phone. He was technical person. He used to open that phone. And I don't know whether you've seen once you open a mobile. So mobile is like the screen and the circuitry. So they are created and then they are assembled to create the whole mobile. So he used to pull out the core machinery from the iPhone and put in place a fake machine, a non-working machine. Let us not say fake, a non-working machine. That non-working machine he used to collect from this. Every city has a second-hand market from mobile, and if you go to those vendors, hundreds and thousands of mobile are in dustbin of the vendor because they are not working. So he had access to some such location. He will take the non-working machine of that category of phone, put it in that phone, and then make a complaint to the vendor, the e-merchant, that this mobile I have received, it is not working. The company will take it back. Now, what happened? That person in a single year, he ordered 20 such different brand new phones, replaced the working machine with a non-working machine, and made a complaint to the vendor. This person was very intelligent. Every time he used to make a payment with a different credit card, debit card, uh, when he was placing the order, then he always used a different email ID. But then the company, the vendor, they do their data analysis. So what they found, that see, all these e-merchants, when they sell a phone or any product, they got their percentage calculation of how much return is going to be there. So in this trend analysis, this city was found that from this city, the return percentage of mobile phone is highest. So when that found that trend analysis, they made a detailed analysis. All return data was captured, found, and a search was done that why it is happening. And then as they started searching through, they used some very intelligent software tools also. Then they realized that when they realized that this is a fraud that has been done on them, they made a police complaint, a searching was done, and that person was finally caught. In fact, all e-merchants, if you know someone who is working there, they all have today they have a separate department on fraud detection. So that is a huge risk that these merchants carry today. And one of the most critical aspect is when e-merchants sell through a payment mode that is cash on delivery. So in cash on delivery, the cash is received when you deliver the product. So the delivery person, he or she is going to receive the cash. So how that cash will be accounted for, how it will flow into your accounting books, it's a big issue. If it is not cash on delivery, it's a prepaid order, then to that extent, merchant doesn't carry a risk, or there is no delay in realization also. So this becomes very, very critical. So that was for the e-merchant. And you can add a lot. Huh? Each line in e-merchant can be a day's discussion. Lot of issues are coming up day in, day out. Okay, now government, let me read what you have said. Okay, Kriti, infrastructure is the whole network through which e-commerce is enabled. So Kriti has a question about infrastructure. So infrastructure is the whole network. So let me try to bring about the parameters of infrastructure. So let us first start with the buyer. So buyer must have mobile or a laptop, desktop, a device through which he or she is going to place an order. It has to be connected to internet. So imagine I have a mobile. So I will have a mobile service provider. Then my device has to be connected to internet. So I can have two modes of connection. I can connect my device through Wi-Fi, or I can use mobile data. If I'm using Wi-Fi, so whichever office or residence I'm using Wi-Fi, so the Wi-Fi modem must be working. That Wi-Fi connection is going to have a service provider. That service provider must be working. If I'm using mobile data, So mobile data will be through a mobile tower. So that tower must be working. Then this connection is going to be brought on internet. So that internet needs to be working. Then I'll be linking to the buyer, sellers, web platform, mobile platform, seller's application. So that application must be working. Then that seller's application, I am going to place an order. So before I place an order, I have to make a payment. So payment has to be through a payment gateway. That has to be working. Then the seller's system is going to cash to order system is going to be linked to the go down of the seller, the logistics partner. So all this becomes part of infrastructure. So every aspect has to be taken care of. That is. Okay. So government, so I'll read by name and what you have written. Darshan, government compliance requirement like tax compliance. Then LSP, I'll read separate second time again. Government, Brinda, government, taxing amount, very good. Harshit, regulatory by government. Prithvi, government tax payment and proper accounting, good. Sunil Kumar, monitoring of product and service, yes, I think I'll read this full. By e-commerce, whether it is legal, yes, please understand we are all mature enough to talk on this. Uh, Government of India and government across the globe have been keeping track of how this uh, narcotics drugs are being sold. So they all governments across the world are talking to each other. They have identified that internet has become a big source of selling, buying narcotic drugs. So this banned drugs. So Sunil Kumar's point is very valid point. So see what I basically want that I'll read through your point, and if in the screen you see only two, so you can add your three also. So let us not keep restricted. Let it be an open learning aspect. So it's a good point, Sunil. Then Diksha, all government government concern, all transactions are accounted for tax payment. Swati, government need control regarding prevention of illegal and unethical operation. Very good. Then government control compliances of taxation regulatory. Harshit. Okay. Then Swati, compliance we have talked about. Sunil Kumar. Okay, your experience. Yeah, Darshan. So I'll answer that. Let us complete the first aspect. So government, you have all answered very well. Okay. Then when LSP comes, I'll read from your feedback on logistics service provider, and then you have put some queries that I'll take after the end of this presentation. So government concern is accounting for taxation purpose, then legality of the operations which are being done online. Yes, it's written narcotics, drugs, and we must be aware about the risk that this carries. Then control in an e-business environment. So network service provider, they need to ensure availability and security of network. Any downtime of network can be disastrous for business. Yes. Technology service provider, this includes all other service provider other than the network service provider. For example, the backends, cloud computing backends, application backends, and like. They are also prone to risk of availability and security. So please understand, if in the chain there are 10 now just by reading this, see how you can improve. So if the issue comes that what are the controls in e-business environment and you want to remember what all to write about. So what I request is imagine the whole chain of events, the flow of the flow diagram, and see what are the constituents of the flow diagram. So if that constituent is an independent person, service provider, that has to be controlled. Then only your business is going to run. That is the point. So आपके e-business environment के उस transaction flow के flow chart में जितने व्यक्ति, जितने लोग मौजूद हैं, उन सबको कंट्रोल करना जरूरी है. That is aspect of controlling e-business environment. Then payment gateway. Yes, e-commerce vendor business shall run only when their payment gateway is efficient, effective, and foolproof. Yes. Very, very, very important. Then coming to LSP, logistics service provider, let us read your answers. So I'll first read the answers for LSP. Again, I'll read by name. Darshan, locating the goods properly. Harshit, logistics efficiency in delivery of goods to customer. Brinda, confirmatory of transaction, very good. Prithvi, logistics service provider, delivery of the products in correct time, good. Then Swati, logistics service provider need control regarding safeguard of the product, timely, right place and right person, the product. So that summarizes the whole transaction, very good. Compliance, okay, that is done. Okay, good. So logistics service provider. Success or failure of any e-commerce, m-commerce venture finally lies here. Logistics service providers are the one who are finally responsible for timely product deliveries. Yes. In fact, initially, I don't know whether you know it, irctc.co.in, say 15, 20 years back, when it allowed you to start booking online. So that IRCTC had something called as a I-delivery and e-delivery of tickets. So because as a user, our e-delivery of tickets means you get a ticket on email and then you take a printout and carry the printout in the train. So not all of us were so technology savvy then, 15, 20 years back. So me personally also, I used to book a I-delivery. I-delivery means the railway ticket will be physically delivered to your home. So IRCTC that time had a parameter that if you book a ticket today, within 72 hours, based on the city you are located, so it gave a time frame that your tickets will be delivered in 42 hours or 72 hours of booking. So that means 2 days or 3 days based on the location. But my very personal experience is whatever tickets I booked within that time frame, not a single time the delivery was delayed. जब भी बुक किया आईआरसीटीसी ने अगर 72 घंटे कमिट किया है, टिकट 72 घंटे में आ गई थी, यानी उससे पहले ही आ जाती. This is important because if that much commitment of delivery is not there, then the whole business model will go bust. Just imagine that if IRCTC did not see, please understand this, the situation I am talking about is 15 years back, and it's a good discussion. This 15 years back will bring to today also. So 15 years back, if the ticket was not delivered within the given time frame of 72 hours, then I'll not book through IRCTC. But then as time went, we realized that suppose I have to book a Tatkal. So Tatkal reservation is only 1 day before. So then I started booking e-delivery. E-delivery means the ticket need not be delivered by post. I get a ticket emailed on my email account so that I can take a printout. So as I started learning, as my learning of the whole technology improved, I realized that it's better to take e-ticket rather than I-ticket. So I started booking e-ticket. The advantage was that then I need not wait for 72 hours. And then over a period of time, IRCTC realized that this I-ticket, physical delivery of ticket is now not needed. So today, there is no concept of physical delivery of ticket when you book a online ticket. You book a ticket, you get an email on your registered mobile email address, you get a message on your registered mobile number. Today, when you go in train, virtually the whole transaction is paperless. The ticket is in your mobile, on your email. You show that to the ticket checker. Now the ticket checker is not carrying a printout, they carry a pad. So very specially configured pads are given to them where all your passenger details are there. He only makes a click that this passenger has checked in the train. It's a phenomenal improvement of technology. Okay, that is. In fact, railways have benefited a huge because due to this, I don't know, you need to keep track of organization and the way technology is changing the way organization is working. So this whole idea about railways starting using iPads and handheld devices for their ticket checkers is a green technology because it saves so much of paper. First, second, I don't know whether you have come. See what you suppose there is an urgent reservation you have to do. So because this technology has been so fast integrated that today, if I want to book a ticket within 4 hours of the train departing from my station, I can book that ticket online also. Because so the technology integration is so fast. So this is what improvements are happening. So now logistics service provider, all of you have said, let us read through this. So success or failure of e-commerce depends here. Yes. So in fact, railway is a good example. Then you can link this example to all the e-merchants that you talk about. So all e-merchants, suppose their deliveries are not in time. In fact, we all stop ordering on the e-merchant who is not delivering in the given time. Say there's a marriage 10 days ahead and you have ordered a new cloth that you want or a new dress you want to wear in the marriage or any function like that. And if the e-merchant doesn't deliver that dress in time, it is a useless exercise. So this of all the components which need lot of control, one of them is logistics service provider. And to that, we have talked about that all big e-merchant based on the volume and value of sale, I think to all metros, and they have got in fact, to big metros like Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata, Chennai, other big cities, Bangalore, Ahmedabad, Jaipur, Lucknow, they are going to have dedicated warehouse and probably more than one warehouse catering to these cities, because these are the cities now they are delivering this. E-merchants are delivering in 6 hours, 4-hour deliveries are being done. So that is the impact of logistics. Then each participant discussed above, means including network service provider, everyone needs to implement control guidance policies like. Now this is very important. This topic is very, very important, not only for the e-business component, but for you to understand and learn, because this is how things are going to go about in future. Educating the participant about the nature of risk. That is why now bankers, when you do a net banking, so bankers send you message, your mobile service providers are sending you message. What message bankers are sending to you? Please do not share your OTP. If you receive a call regarding any credit card, debit card information, please do not share with anyone. Banker is telling that we do not make a call to you. So please understand, and please, if anything has to be done, you have to call for updates, or you have to call to your bank regarding any debit card, credit card updates. You have to generate a request. Okay. Suppose your credit card, debit card expiry is coming, then they are going to send a message to you, but they are not going to make a call to you. Lot of control over a period of time people have built. We'll be talking more credit card, debit card in our chapter 5, core banking system, on this aspect only. So see, what I want all of you to understand, that taking a common example storyboard and then building it on. So we have created a lot of these examples. So what I want, just keep a tag of this. So day after tomorrow when we meet, in the last 5 minutes or 10 minutes of day after tomorrow when we meet, last 15 minutes, we will list it down our storyboards and the aspects that it covers in different chapters. Okay, good. So every participant need to be trained, educated on risk. Just for the sake of it, I have talked about credit card, debit card. We'll be sharing more, but just let me complete before I go to the next line. Whenever you make a payment through credit card, debit card, and when you are putting your PIN number, always cover keypad with your hand before you put the PIN number. Cover your keypad with the hand before you put the PIN number. In a departmental store, for their security, not to capture your PIN number, but for security in the departmental store, in the shopping mall you have gone, for security purpose, they have many cameras. in the shopping mall, in the departmental store. Those cameras are creating a video of the transaction. Your PIN number may be captured, not for fraud, but for security. It's working there. Always cover the keypad. So this is how you educate. Okay. Never share your PIN number. Never tell it to anyone. We must be doing it. Then communicate privacy policies. In fact, this new this DPDP bill, now which has been converted into law, has lot and lot of restriction on privacy, data privacy. Very strict restrictions have been put in place in law that any organization that is capturing an individual's data will have to tell the purpose, the intent for which the data is being collected. An organization can only use that data for the intent it has been collected. Sharing is an impossibility. Data तो अब share कर ही नहीं सकता है. The restriction is to that level that organization suppose tells you that they are collecting data for this purpose. They cannot use the data for that purpose. जिस लिए डेटा कलेक्ट किया है उसी लिए यूज कर सकते हैं और किसी वजह के लिए यूज कर सकते नहीं. That is. Then, so privacy policy, security, shipping and billing policy. Yes, when you order online, so always see the delivery time, the shipping. Suppose it is cash on delivery. So how you have to make a payment. So everything is there. Refund policy. In fact, like we talked about, that one of the key components of success of e-commerce is logistics service provider, their commitment. To me personally, another key feature that has led to success was refund. In fact, that was the topic came previously also, that returns, accounting of returns, refund. Just imagine, just write in the chat. Okay, let us do. It's a phenomenal exercise to do. Suppose you place an order today. So I want you to tell me that when you place an order online, what moment of time you can cancel the order? Okay, just imagine. जब आप online कोई, just imagine you are placing an order for a dress and then you want to cancel the order. So I want you to write here timelines chronologically. कब कब उस order को आप cancel कर सकते हैं? Just try to write out. So we are customers. Customer is king. Customer राजा है. वो कुछ भी कर सकता है. That is good. It is right of the customer, but then that right we need to link into the way the processes the e-commerce vendor has to put and the merchant has to put. Let us see. Then next is ensure compliance with industry body standards. So suppose this e-sellers create a association, then they create a self-regulatory standard that this is how we are going to do it. Then whether the transactions are as per those standards, very important. Protect your e-commerce business from intrusion. Intrusion is forced entry. It can be through viruses, hackers, passwords. We have in the discussion from day one, we have been talking about passwords. Lot of cases we have created. Please keep your passwords secure. Do not share passwords. Do not write passwords. And just one more warning I want to give to you. It's good in module, in 5 chapters, good in life also. There are password strength testing websites. There are websites where you can check the strength of your password. So what happens, suppose you create a password. Just for example, I say my password is ABC12345. So I go on the website and type my password. So the website responds that this password can be broken by someone in how much time of your creating it. So website पे आप जाते हैं, पासवर्ड देते हैं, तो वेबसाइट यह बताती है कि आपका ये पासवर्ड की ताकत कितनी है. ताकत का मतलब आपके द्वारा बनाए गए पासवर्ड को प्रयोग करने के कितने समय में कोई व्यक्ति उस पासवर्ड को ब्रेक कर दे. So I go on the website, type ABC12345. And then website tells me the password will be broken in 1 nanosecond. The password doesn't have any strength. I create a very complicated password. So, and the website tells this can be broken in 10 days. More complicated, website says it can be broken in 6 months. More complicated, it can be broken in 1 year. More complicated, it can be broken in 10 years. Okay. So the website has some benchmark that 10 years of the normal computing power or a supercomputer in 10 years, that is different. But the point is that whenever I go to the website and when I try to test the strength of the password, I have already done one mistake. You know what is the mistake? I have already shared my password is from someone whom I don't know. I don't know is the creator of the website. Anonymity. मुझे पता ही नहीं है उस पासवर्ड स्ट्रेंथ की वेबसाइट का क्रिएटर कौन है, ओनर कौन है. नेवर डू इट. ओके. So if you go to the website and share your password, and if the website says that this password has strength that it can be broken in 10 years, to me personally, it is already broken because I have already shared it with someone whom I don't know about. So please save yourself from all this adventurism that is available on internet. So that is a must learning. So whatever activity you do on net, just look to the implication, how it is going to work through. Then always have regular software updates, protect your sensitive data, and know details of your payment service provider contract. When payment gateway are using, if you can read through, it's a long contract, but what the point is that it has to be a secured contract. That is it. Okay. Lot of questions and your own experiences you have shared. Let me read through them. So Ashish says, sir, there is a movie on the incident. Okay. Then Sunil Kumar, one of Sunil's friend ordered camera lens. He got damaged lens. He returned the damaged lens and got the money. Yeah, but that is reality. Okay. Then Darshan has a query. Sir, how is COD risk? No, Darshan. See, cash on delivery, how it is risky. Okay. So let us understand from the e-merchant side, the seller. So when you make a payment through credit card, debit card, UPI, and all those payment gateway. So you are the buyer and here is the seller. When you do, so whatever mode you paid becomes a prepaid order. So to the merchant has already realized the cash. So now he or the merchant need not do any process to account for the cash or to keep a track of the receipt of cash. It is already received. What happens in cash on delivery? Suppose you place an order today, the delivery time is 7 days. So the first thing is that for 7 days, the working capital cycle role comes into play, that the product is going to travel. The cash is going to be received on the 7th day, the date of delivery. First. Second, because cash will be physically delivered to a third person, the delivery person. To that extent, the merchant, the seller has to keep a track of that transaction, that when the goods were delivered, the cash was received, whether the cash has been accounted for. So that adds to the risk, that additional risk that comes to this cash on delivery transaction. Yeah, Shubham. Okay, it's a type of a drug. So I'm not saying it online, but it's a type of a drug. Okay. Yes, Shivam has brought a good point, that pizza delivery, you have seen those advertisements. If you don't get in a specified time, it is free. And that advertisement is phenomenally well made. so, so that is good. So they have to keep a track of their delivery guys. Very good point, Shivam. Okay. Yes. Now you are putting the when you can cancel. Good, Harshit. So before shipment, Harshit. Okay, before shipment. Okay. before delivery. Nirali says before delivery. Sunil Kumar, before confirm order. Yes. Then Rajiv Kumar Singh, before the order is shipped, we can cancel the order. When the product is delivered, we can still cancel. Yes, you can cancel. If it is a dress, you can cancel post delivery also. I'll tell you, it's a fantastic thing to learn. Then Brinda, immediate cancellation, canceling before the goods are delivered. Okay. Before, then Prithvi, before shipment of the product or before delivery, and after delivery, we can return. Yes. We can cancel immediately. That is Shubham. As soon as we start putting it in the cart, we can also have options to remove from the cart, decline the product. Of course, if you have not placed the order, Shubham, so the issue of cancellation doesn't come. Yes, okay. Password risk 2 3. Yeah. Shubham, in fact, so to that COD, Shubham has brought an issue that now we are not giving cash to the delivery person. We are making a Google. In fact, that is what has. So see, understand how technologies help, uh, or how vendors are using technology as they face the risk. So initially, when cash on delivery, today also by volume, cash on delivery is the by percentages is the most used mode of making payment. But over a period of time, e-merchants realize that see the delivery person carrying cash is risk to merchant also. It's a physical risk to the delivery person. There have been instances in India where delivery person, they were carrying cash and they were looted because the thieves knew that this person is going to carry cash. He's a delivery person and cash on delivery is being used. So this delivery person has a threat to his life. Then because the delivery person carries cash, he himself or the individual may commit a fraud. We had instances like that. So over a period of time, the e-merchants realize that because this risk is there and the buyer is going to have faith in cash on delivery. So what they did, okay, you have cash on delivery, but you make a online payment at the time of delivery. So that is how you improve that risk. So that risk has been removed. But then you can pay through Google Pay, that is good, but you can also pay cash. So it is not been made zero, but over a period of time, we have reduced the risk. A good point. Now, coming to this cancellations. Okay. So suppose I place an order and immediately I realize that I had to place an order for a white shirt, but I have placed an order for a blue shirt. Cancel immediately. Next day morning, when I wake up, I realize, oh, I placed an order for white shirt and I wanted a white, but I've ordered for blue, cancel it. Discussing within the family, and then you realize the next day evening that you have ordered a wrong shirt, cancel it. 3 days after placing the order, you realize that the shirt you have ordered, the size of it is not as you wanted, cancel it. The delivery person comes to your home, you see the shirt, it's a blue colored shirt and you wanted a white colored shirt, cancel it. You receive the shirt and wear and find that it is not fitting, not good, cancel it. So these are the modes. So this is what a customer is doing. Each transaction is going to have a different impact on the e-merchant and the vendor of the product. So if you immediately cancel, so the vendor product is not dispatched, no problem, no payment has been done. Now, there are so many permutations. I'm just creating the idea to you. Suppose I do a cash on delivery order, place the order, cancel immediately. No one is affected because the cash has not flowed from my pocket. The e-merchant has not received the cash and the vendor of the product has not started the dispatch. Next day morning, when I cancel, my delivery term is cash on delivery. So the product has moved from the vendor to the e-merchant go down. So because I have cancelled, the vendor needs to receive back the product. Then 3 days after when I do, because it is cash on delivery, the product has been from vendor, it has reached to the e-merchant has shipped. So it is in the it is with the logistics service provider. So that information goes to logistics service provider that you are delivering this product from say Mumbai to Jaipur. So hold on, the customer has cancelled, don't send it to Jaipur. 5 days after, so product has already moved to the delivery location Jaipur, but not delivered to the customer. So I tell the logistics service provider at Jaipur, don't take it to the customer, send it back to the Delhi, go down and Delhi will send it to the vendor. All this is happening when it is cash on delivery. Imagine the same transaction was a prepaid order. So many permutation combination. It creates a huge accounting issue at the e-merchant as at the vendor's location. Okay, Shivam, I'm not going to read what you have said. Not reading that. Avoidable. Companies have a track of it, Shivam. Companies know what to do. So it's from the module itself. We'll read. I'll bring the module. Uh, when I okay, just give me a second. So here is okay. The city is there. A person in Hyderabad was caught returning mobiles with defective parts. So this we have talked about. Now, what control lapses led to fraud? Entities poor policy documentation regarding accepting mobile returns as defective. Within the organization, there must have been a person putting a red mark when same person was returning mobile as defective. This reflects poor audit mechanism. But later on, because there was a forensic analysis done, then in fact this situation came to light because due to forensic analysis itself. Then certain websites allow anybody to sell products on, which creates a market for fake and fictitious wrong products. It is important to check the history of the seller and need read all details to ensure that the product is the brand name product you originally intended to buy. A good thumb rule is that it's too good to be true. Yes, when you find that there's a very good discount and you would like to jump to buy that, so then you must recheck. If everything is too good, then there is some problem like that. It, designer headphone, purses, watches will always cost around retail price online. So means if you find some big brand watches at a very throwaway prices, that means the risk is that the product that you are looking online is a fraud product. In fact, we'll just add more to this. Uh, this all e-merchants have been advertising that they have got say 1 lakh vendor or 10 lakh vendors listed on them. So over a period of time, this e-merchants, say Amazon, Flipkart, Myntra, they've done lot of data analysis, lot of artificial, lot of legal compliances they have done to identify vendors which are listed on their platform and those who are supplying fake and fraud products. So lot of data analysis has been done, and based on that data analysis, so these were the two case studies: purchase of fake interior products online and return of mobile. We'll go to the next topic. Cyber security risk consideration. I'm just taking a 10 seconds break. I'll need to refill my hot water. I'll get back. 10 seconds. back. Okay. So there is a question. Yeah. So Shubham has put two more issues on wrong buying of the product. Yes, people have received mobile phones. So their boxes in which a mobile phone had to be delivered. That box had soap bars, fake laptops have been delivered. So it's a issue. Then cyber security risk consideration, because we are in e-commerce, this becomes a big topic. So the impact, direct, indirect it has, and what our institute's guidance talks about on this. Let us read through. So business and the technological environment in which entities operate are rapidly changing on account of e-commerce platform on which most of them operate. Therefore, it is imperative for consideration of cyber security risk in the audit procedure. So there could be cyber security which has direct impact and indirect impact. Direct impact could be the application at the company's retailers which contains financial information, has weak passwords at all open system interconnection layers, resulting in harming of integrity of data. So direct impact is your application is hit. Okay. Indirect impact is if sensitive customer information in form of bank account numbers, recipes of patented products could be breached, which would result in legal and regulatory action on company on account of breach of confidential information. Now, see, please understand that with the new bill in place on data protection, this indirect impact is also huge. So, if a company is hit, a customer data is taken away by a third person, then the company that has customer data will be held responsible, and penalties have been hugely enhanced in the new bill. So it can hit you on both sides. So direct impact could be your going concern status. Indirect impact can also, the penalty is so high that even if third person data is taken away from you, it can hit your business continuity. So huge impact is there on both sides. Then, as per SA 315, it recognizes the specific risk to an entity's internal control in form of the reliance on systems or programs that are inaccurately processing data and processing inaccurate data, or both. So it's a very well put line that the processing is inaccurate and the data that is used for processing is inaccurate. So both ways it can have huge impact on the entity, the business, the profitability. So these considerations you must keep yourself aware about. Then unauthorized access to data that may result in destruction of data or improper changes to data. So someone is able to change data in improper manner. Then also you can be hit, including the recording of unauthorized non-existent transaction or inaccurate recording of transactions. Particularly risk may arise where multiple users access a common database. We've talked about database is a shared resource. So because it is a shared resource, more controls have to be put in place. So there is a chance that shared resource can be misused. The possibility of IT personnel gaining access privileges beyond those necessary to perform their assigned duties is breaking it down the segregation of duty as a principle. So when you have more than one people in system, you need to ensure that the restrictions are put well in place so that the person who has access to right information only accesses that information. We are reading through SA 315 only. Unauthorized changes to data in master files. Now, what I basically want that in the previous chapters, we have talked about those tables, risk and control. You can relate that there also. So change in master data, we talked about in chapter 2. There was a whole table we talked about. So that is covered in your standards also. So this can be a good way of that. You remember it in chapter 2 also, chapter 4 also, in your auditing also. Okay. Then unauthorized changes to systems or programs. failure to make necessary changes to system or program, inappropriate manual intervention, potential loss of data, or inability to access data as required. So that is denial of service. So all these are going to have huge impact. So that is also a consideration that you must have. Then you need to put controls in place, a network diagram detailing. So the first thing is knowing your resources, knowing your assets. So first draw a detailed network diagram, which talks about servers, database, hubs, routers, internal, external network, list of digital assets used by the company, and the IT managers responsible for protection of these digital assets along with the physical location. That is again important. Policy and procedures to document criticality of the assets. So the value that asset has for business. What will happen if the asset is not there? How it is going to impact your business? All these need to be put in place. Any incidents of cybersecurity breach which has occurred and how you have responded to that, what action you have taken on that. Annual review by the Chief Information Officer based on company's digital assets and IT environment in which it operates, assessing which are most critical digital assets and the controls designed to address the risk. Are the IT managers responsible for safeguarding assets from cyber attacks, skilled, trained? So you need to see whether the training is proper. The entity should create a security policy circulated to all the employees and ensure that they understand. You can write this word. So they need to understand the policy and they need to comply with it while accessing system resource like password security, restricted use of internet. We have talked a lot on password. We have talked about which Wi-Fi not to access, which to access. Then periodical review of access rights to all IT resources to ensure that access to user is commensurate with their functional roles and responsibility. The right person has the right access. We have talked about a word given to this, right to do and right to know. The principle of least privileges. जिस व्यक्ति को जितनी जरूरत होगी उतना ही एक्सेस दिया जाएगा. Adequate approval exists before access is granted to any other IT resource. Very, very, very important. Timely employee awareness campaigns focusing on methods of intrusion which can be stopped. Use of firewalls by the company to allow internet activity in accordance with the rules defined. Firewall prevents you from external hackers. Firewall works on IP, Internet Protocol addresses. So it can be hardware as well as software based. So it's a security device. It prevents your system from attack by external hackers, external threats. Any baseline security configuration established by company under any security standard need to be periodically reviewed. Now this word baseline means minimum. Whatever we do, this is going to be minimum security standard. Just for example, like if in a company as a policy, whatever access password you create, it has to be minimum 8 digits. It must be alphanumeric. It must have a special symbol and a numeric. A capital and a small letter. So baseline security. कुछ भी करेंगे तो कम से कम इतनी security रखेंगे ही. So you need to periodically review baseline security because your baseline security may need upgrade. That is the point. All remote access logins are configured to have two-factor authentication. I think you understand two-factor. Two-factor means other than the password, there has to be an additional data provided. The best example is when you log into your bank system. So there is a login password. And once you have logged properly, the bank sends an OTP on the registered mobile number. Two-factor authentication. That is. So two-factor is asking the user to provide one additional information, then the password. So two secure data before you allow a person to enter into system. That is called as two-factor. Then any vulnerability scan. Vulnerability scan is, we have talked about the weaknesses or a penetration testing. I talked about this ethical hacking. So what ethical hackers do, there's a new word, just keep a tag of it. Ethical hackers. So what ethical hackers do, they try to log into your system. They try to find lacunas. The whole activity that ethical hackers do is what is called as penetration testing, trying to enter system through identified lacunas. That is penetration testing. So how it has been performed and how you have to, if you find a lacuna, you need to improve upon that. That is, are the backups scheduled properly? We have talked about backups need to be taken. So whether they are scheduled, if scheduled, are they being taken properly? And so please understand the most important line in this slide is this word is, please need to understand what is restoration. I am defining restoration. You can keep a note of it. Understanding of restoration will help you keep a tag of questions in examination. What is restoration? So see, backup is keeping an additional copy of my data. Why do I keep backup? Because if my data is lost for any reason, I can use this backup data to restart my operation. So when I use my backup data, this process of using backup data is basically, see, backup data is there and I need to use it because my main data is lost for any reason. So when I need to use my backup data, what is the first thing I have to do? The first thing that I have to do is restore. So now the question is, restore where? So do I restore my backup data on my main system? Not possible, because I lost my main system. I have lost my backup main data. So restoration is generally on a third system. Now what happens is, when you want to restore data on a third system, there is a compatibility issue. The third system and data need to be compatible to each other. So that is why whenever you take a backup, you always identify the third system where you are going to restore. And this restoration is a pre-disaster check. Please understand, restoration is a pre-disaster check to see that my backup data is working on third system. See, those of you who are going for articleship and those who are going to go in articleship and those who are going for audit and those of you who are going to go for audit, all your clients and your office has backup policy. आप सबके यहाँ पे backup policy है. If you find time and if you can get a courage to please ask your boss or the general manager accounts where you are going, please ask. It's a good question to ask. You'll get phenomenal. It is going to be learning for you. Ask that. I'll type the question. Carry this question. आप जहां काम करते हैं, जहां आर्टिकलशिप करते हैं, उस ऑफिस में जहां ऑडिट करने जाते हैं, उस जगह पे जो आर्टिकलशिप शुरू करेंगे, जिस दिन आर्टिकलशिप शुरू करें, आर्टिकलशिप उसके 1 महीने बाद ऑडिट शुरू करें, उसके 7 दिन बाद जिस जगह ऑडिट कर रहे हैं, वहां के इंचार्ज व्यक्ति से पूछें, आर यू टेकिंग बैकअप? दे विल 100% से यस. देन आस्क द टफेस्ट क्वेश्चन, हैव यू रिस्टोर्ड बैकअप? रिस्टोरिंग बैकअप इज checking of the backup on a third system that you are going to use when the main system is not there. Not putting in percentage, but my understanding is more than 90% people have not restored data. So it's a disaster, because if you have not restored backup, and when you actually want to use backup, there are going to be compatibility and compliance issues that the other person doesn't know about. So restoration is a must. The above procedures are even to be considered for assets not owed. Yes, please, the phenomenal module you have. We must, Board of Studies has done fantastic. Huh? These are too good a topic to be read, understood, and carried forward. The above procedures are to be considered for assets not even owned by the company, but where company is utilizing service providers like server maintenance, security is outsourced to an outsourced service provider. I am reading SA 4032, client using service organization. So all these considerations are valid for you and valid for your service provider. Just imagine, in the previous discussion, we talked about logistics service provider. Just imagine one of the e-merchants logistics service provider goes bankrupt. Ah, what the my point? So here is Amazon, Flipkart, Myntra, and all the e-merchants, and he is a logistics service provider. This logistics service provider goes bankrupt. Tomorrow morning, the announcement comes in the newspaper. हम bankrupt हो गए हैं. This logistics service provider. It is going to have a huge impact on the business of the e-merchants, because of the two or three success parameters. One success parameter of e-merchant is timely delivery. That is it. So this whole discussion is not only relevant for the e-merchant, it is relevant for the whole chain, including logistics service provider is a very critical element of the whole e-business, e-commerce environment. So that has to be kept a control of. Okay. Before we go, it's time to take a break, but let me read your questions. Yes, Harshit. Yeah, Darshan. Yeah, in fact, Darshan has put a good point. Two-factor authentication is part of, if you're using Gmail, then Gmail also you can configure. In fact, we have configured. So two-factor authentication, every time you log in from a system that you're logging for the first time, it asks you to give a OTP that is received on the registered mobile number. Then it also gives you an option that on this regular system, do you want OTP every time? You can select that. You log in from a third system, then it is going to ask OTP every time. Yes. DRP is disaster recovery planning. Darshan, if you wanted a full form, yeah. So this restoration of backup is part of disaster recovery planning. Ravikant Ralapalli, your the space between the words you type has gone, but I'll try to read. On what basis irregular payments are confirmed? How it is possible? Explain in detail. Okay. Uh, Ravikant, I'm trying to make a conclusion based on the question we have put. So irregular payment, I couldn't get it. Means you need to add something more. See, irregular. See, when we are talking of e-commerce, so there are two basic ways of making payment. One is it's pre-order, so you make the payment while you place an order. Second is post-delivery. That is when you get delivery of the. These are the two basic modes. Okay. So in e-commerce, we don't have a irregular payment as a concept. So you need to explain the word irregular payment. Okay. You can ask the question. No issues. Okay. So it's 7:20. So it's good time to take a break. So we are taking a 10 minutes break. So we'll reassemble at 7:30. Ravi, I'll request you, Ravikant, please retype your question with the details. Okay. So it's a break time. So this was today. Very much needed tea break. Now, guidelines and law governing e-commerce. So Shubham has put a very good point. Let me read that. Sir, it feels kind of funny using ethical with hacking. Yes, Shubham. In fact, that is those people, they are called as ethical hackers. So companies employ ethical hackers to see whether there are any flaws in company's system. So those people are called as ethical hackers. So they are there, Shubham. Yes. Then guidelines for e-commerce. We'll take it one by one. Now, please understand this topic has its academic significance because part of your syllabus, but this topic is going to have a lot of practical significance. See, all of you doing articleship, one day you will be going for articleship. So wherever you go, you will find technology being used. Okay. So all these locations, these are important considerations to view, validate. This includes billing related, product guarantee warranty related, shipping, delivery, return, and payment. So each entity needs to define their policy for billing, product guarantee warranty policy. In fact, as this e-commerce business has evolved a lot today, so companies have got well-framed policies on each aspect. But the point is that the customer, the user needs to be communicated, and whatever policy company decides, it has to be in compliance with the law of the land. So the best laws that we can talk. Okay, let me put it back to you. What you're looking at screen, I want you to put all these policies need to comply with which law that is applicable in it, which laws. Okay. तो मेरा सवाल ये है कि जो हेडर्स आप देख रहे हैं, बिलिंग, प्रोडक्ट गारंटी वारंटी, शिपिंग, delivery, return, payment, all these aspects need to comply with some existing law in India. I want you to give example of those laws with which these aspects need to comply with. It's a good question to learn. Okay. So once you answer that, then I'll elaborate further. Let us read through them. So entity need to ensure that they have clear billing policy. It has to be communicated to the customer, and whatever billing policy entity creates, it has to be in compliance with the applicable law of the land. Okay. Like say, only for example, say Amazon sells products in US, Europe, Australia, Africa, India, Middle East, every location. So their billing policy, when they are selling products in India, these 6 aspects of Amazon need to comply with the applicable law in India. So policy need to be defined, properly communicated to the customer, and in compliance with applicable laws and regulation. Then same applies for product guarantee warranty, shipping, delivery, return, and payment. So everything has to be in compliance with applicable laws of the land. Then now because you answered, so let me read. So that is the next header. So I thought let us learn from you. Okay. So Harshit says Sale of Goods Act, very good. Then Sunil Kumar, yes, GST, very good. Then Rajiv Kumar Singh says Custom Act, Consumer Protection Act, GST law, very good. So whatever transactions are being done, they need to be in compliance with all these applicable laws. We have more input. Yeah. Then Sunil Kumar, return has to be as per Sale of Goods Act. Prithvi, Consumer Protection, Customs, IT Act. Good. Darshan, billing as per GST, product guarantee as per Consumer Protection Act, delivery and payment as per Sales of Good Act, and Contract Act. Good. So That is the next heading. So let us read the heading now. So commercial law governing e-commerce. So most of you have already talked about Income Tax Act, Companies Act, Foreign Trade Development Regulation Act, Factories Act, Customs, Goods and Service Act. So these all govern the e-commerce transactions. Indian Contract Act, Competition Act, FEMA, Foreign Exchange Management Act and Consumer Protection Act. So most of that you already had updated in the response. Now, I am leaving this to you. Let us read through, then we'll have questions. Product A ordered by A. Product is ordered by Mr. A, delivered to B. For example, DU. A had made a payment online, so it's a prepaid order. What if B accepts the product and starts using? So situations have been created. Okay. A had ordered the product to give to spouse on his or her birthday or to child. What of the mental agony cost? The product is a medicine necessary for treatment of A's dependent parents. In case of any complication to A's parent due to delayed delivery, who bears the additional cost? Now, see, these are the situations that may arise. Okay. So what is expected from you is, for say, what case one, situation one. So we have to start answering. Okay. So your take on the situation. So product A product is ordered by A, delivered to B. Okay. Suppose it's a DO. What happens if B accepts and starts using? Then, what if the product was a birthday gift for a relative? What if the product was a medicine and wrongly delivered? So what I want you to say is, there are three parties, A, B and the merchant. A is the original buyer, B is the wrong customer, and merchant is the person who is delivering. So in each of the cases, what you have to say, case one, what is the responsibility of A, what is the responsibility of B, and what is the responsibility of merchant? Case two, responsibility of A, B and merchant. Case three or situation three, responsibility of A, B and merchant. Start, Rise. So very good question to learn. Yeah, good. So first, it becomes in nature of a quasi contract. So B, because has accepted, he has to make payment to the merchant, and then merchant will ensure that the refund is given to A. But because the contract between A and merchant and B and merchant are two different contracts, so refund of A is not restricted that B will pay and then refund will be generated. No, the merchant has to make the refund to A, and then merchant is going to collect the payment from B. That is a civil contract between them. So A is not concerned whether B makes a payment or not. A must get the refund. Yes. Good. So I want feedback from you. So first case we have discussed that B merchant will have to make the payment to B. Person will have to make the payment to merchant. The merchant will have to make a refund to A. The refund to A has no linkage to the payment being made by B because it is a mistake by the delivery person who was engaged by the merchant. So A refund is due. That has to be made. Then second case. I want input in second case also. Okay. Second case is same as first. The only aspect is that A can bring a suit on merchant for the mental agony that has been caused due to this. And third, because no updates are there, so let me conclude it. In third case, I think this is where the law is evolving. How responsive, if you look from the direct application, then the culpability of the crime comes to the merchant because the delivery has been done incorrectly. B will be held indirectly responsible But then because it's a medicine and wrong delivery may have extreme implications. So up to that point, it is a learning process. If you read law directly as it exists, then merchant and we both can be held responsible for whatever complication happens at A's end. Yeah, A must have provided the proper address, Raju Kumar Singh. B must not have taken, but he has started using. Ideally, must not accept B, make complaint. Yes, if the Darshan has put it well, that in third case, like now you have online delivery of medicines. We have in our town online delivery of medicine. So the person who is delivering medicine, he knows that the medicines are being delivered. So to that much extent, he keeps himself aware. In fact, in my hometown, the medicines are being delivered in a period of 6 hours. 6 घंटे में delivery कर देता है. So that means what Darshan has said, that if the merchant knew that the medicines are being ordered and they are have a special use, then all damages could be put on merchant. It's a good point. Yeah, Sahu SK B is responsible for accepting a wrong delivery. Yeah. So this is and please understand, it's a evolving process. The law is learning, so it's evolving all across India and across globe also. Now you answer. I'll not read. I am leaving this to you for you to answer. Please go through. So I understand the case is clear that A has a long-term contract with the courier company where courier company persons comes 5 a.m., 5 p.m. evening every day to collect the couriers to be sent. The designated day or one day the courier person doesn't come. Yeah, so Sahu SK says that courier company is responsible. Yeah, so again, if you have done courier and if you have a courier receipt, just go to the back of the courier receipt. So it says that whatever is your document, unless you have insured the document, courier company is only responsible to pay damages up to rupees 100. Okay. Now, in this case, the document is not collected and you have incurred a loss. Non-collection was due to some fault at the courier company level. So, prima facie, the courier company is responsible to fix the exact responsibility. The vendor or the person and a courier company has an agreement that we call as a service level agreement. So that service level agreement need to be reviewed, that what volume, value and kind of responsibility the courier company is going to bear in such cases. So prima facie, it's a courier company. More specific will come when you run through the service level agreement between the user and the service provider. Again, a good case. Run through it. So last day we did talk about that we are going to have this case-based studies to this. This is important. So an auction website has sold illegal products, drugs, or armaments. So there are three persons: the auction website, the buyer of the product, and auction website has a seller. So three parties are there. So responsibility of all these three have been asked from you. Yes. So in fact, in this case, all three are going to be held responsible. So seller, because he is selling banned substance in India, the buyer because he is buying a banned substance, and the auction website because it will become the enabler of the transaction. What exact responsibility will be fixed will be as per the CRPC Criminal Procedure Code, the Narcotics Act. That is how it is going to work through, but they all will be responsible. Yes. So see, this is a evolving situation, evolving law. So law is keeping law is keeping its pace with the way technology is moving ahead. This is very important. A very good question. Next, in fact, a lot of issues have come on this aspect. I think customs is part of its syllabus. GST is also there. Ah, yes, Darshan. It is part of your customs. It's in CA final, okay. But the situation exists. So then you have to look to the present definitions, whether it is import. So if it is import, then whether it is subject to liability of customs. Suppose it is subject to liability of custom, then valuation, how you value this. So all these are considerations. Now see what this case brings to our understanding is that, see, the way technology is evolving, the way systems are going, the way e-commerce is being conducted, just see the nature of laws a simple e-commerce transaction has to ensure compliance with. I think Amazon has opened it, what they are calling its global store. So you can buy products of Amazon that are not available in India, but they are imported. So it's an issue to consider. We'll just have a 10 seconds break. So these 10 seconds are having my water filled. Yeah. Okay. So Sunil Kumar says that it can be held as import. And if held as import, pre-export, you can claim the benefits. I'll take it. But the point is that these issues are so important, pertinent, relevant today. Then special laws governing e-commerce. So we'll go to the module. Give me a second. So to Information Technology Act and Reserve Bank. Let us look to the first line of this. It says that due to anonymous nature of internet. People with intelligence have been grossly misusing internet to commit criminal activities in cyberspace. This necessitated the need for framing and enforcing suitable laws for providing adequate legal protection and recourse against people who cause threat to the security of e-commerce resources of any enterprise. To this extent, Information Technology Act 2000 legally recognizes transactions carried out by means of electronic data interchange or e-commerce and gives legal recognition to digital signatures for authentication of any information or matter which requires authentication under any law. The important issues dealt in by the Act include legality of products, services offered online, data protection, protecting customers' privacy online, ensuring online advertisement is in compliance with the Information Technology Act. And these objectives, please remember, these are direct question in examination. Let us read through them. The objectives: to grant legal recognition for transaction carried out by means of electronic data interchange or e-commerce in place of paper-based methods of communication. So today, we talk now. See what we are going to do. We are going to link our discussion in prior chapters to this idea. So see, previously when technology was not like that, the way we are using today, suppose the purchase order had to be sent to the vendor. What used to happen was that a physical printout of purchase order was taken and it was signed by the purchase manager and sent to the vendor, and then vendor was supposed to supply the goods. Today, you are not sending purchase order physically. Suppose you are sending it by an email. So the vendor who received the email for the specified quantity of purchase order or quantity or ROQ, EOQ quantity of the specific product, he takes an action on that. Now, once that action is taken, you as a buyer say, no, I'm not going to buy it. That is what you call as a principle of, we talked about in the earlier slide. You call it the principle of non-repudiation. So once you create a transaction, your right to deny is withdrawn. So how to create a legality to such transaction? That is being done through the provisions of Information Technology Act. Very, very important. Now, let us take it a step further. See, understand that in the same example we talked about, that large manufacturers, you know what they have done? Large manufacturers have allowed vendor login to their system. So now they don't send a purchase order to the vendor. They've informed vendor that these are the 5 products for which you are our authorized vendors. You keep a tag of the quantity of inventory. As soon as the reorder level hits, you deliver the ROQ, EOQ. That means now that email delivery is also not being made. Okay. JIT has been taken to a next level. So you need to create legality to these transactions. It's a contract that is being done. So all this legality is being done, built through the provisions of Information Technology Act. Then, this is a very important discussion to give legal recognition to digital signatures for authentication of any information or matter which require authentication under any law. You all have been reading about digital signature certificates, DSC. So those who are going in for articleship, your boss in your office has the DSC, digital signature certificate. So that is used to validate transactions. In fact, e-filing of returns, e-filing of documents, e-filing by companies to ROC is being done by signing the documents to these digital signature certificates. So that is DSC. Then, in continuation to that, the next is there to facilitate electronic filing of documents with government departments. So now, because you are digitally signing, you can electronically file. Then now you can store data electronically. So It's again a green technology because you need not keep those large books of accounts. You store data electronically. The only condition in law is that you store data electronically. The only requirement by law is that whatever data you are storing electronically, you must be able to generate a report when asked by authorities in the requisite format. So now cash book ledgers you need not print. You can keep it electronically. The only requirement is that you generate in the specified format whenever asked by any taxation department. Then to provide legal recognition to transfer of funds electronically to and between bank institution, RTGS, NEFT. Then I don't know you have read, we did talk about the word CRR, statutory cash reserve ratios, SLR, statutory liquidity ratio. So bankers have to maintain CRR, SLR month on month basis. So if as a banker, I am short of CRR, I think you have read CRR, SLR. Okay. So if I am short of SLR or CRR, I need to borrow cash. So thousands of crores of cash or thousands of crores of securities I buy. All this is being done online. It saves phenomenal documentation cost. It creates an online transaction. So if you read the full form of RTGS NEFT, real-time gross settlement, new electronic fund transfer, IMPS, immediate payment systems, these are enabled through this only. Then to provide legal recognition for bookkeeping by bank today, just imagine State Bank of India. It cannot generate the ledger of all its borrowers. It will be so impractical a task that it is equal to impossible. So much volume is there, unimaginable volume. So then this UPI we have been talking about day in, day out. Every day we talk about the volume that we are generating on UPI. So that is what this IT Act has done. And to amend the Indian Penal Code, Indian Evidence Act, Bankers Books Evidence Act, and Reserve Bank of India Act. So through the provisions of Information Technology Act, these 4 acts have been amended to provide legal infrastructure to promote e-commerce and secure information system. That is our chapter heading. To manage cyber crimes at national, international levels by enforcing laws. This act governs all internet activities in India and is applicable to all online transaction in India and provides for penalties prosecution for non-compliance within the frame of law. So that is the purpose objective of the act. Let us see. Yes. Okay. So software, someone says import, someone says not import, but let us leave that discussion out. And yes, so company like Amazon has these issues to look into. So that was objectives. Then sections. We'll go to the sections now. So I'll not be reading through all the sections. There are some important sections. So what I'll do, okay, we'll do it in allow me to bring a Word document. Just give me a second. So you can remember this. Let us have a good way of remembering. So I'm writing the sections. So this section allows digital signatures. We are reading sections of, so it's sections, just keep a note of this. So it's a very good way of remembering. Information Technology Act 2000 as amended in 2008. So then 4 is e-form. So you can electronically create signatures, then you can have electronic form. So any document that can be physical can have electronic form. If you can have document in electronic form, you can have a signature on that form. So electronic form, then you affix digital signatures from section 3, it becomes e-signatures. Then section 6. So when you have a electronic form, you can have electronic signature. Section 6 is about e-filing. Then you e-file. Then section 7 is, so you can electronically file, you can electronically store. In section 7, it is written that when you electronically store data, the condition it is not be secured and it must be provided in the format as requested by authorities. Then a new section came that is called as e-audit. So if everything is electronically stored, why have physical audit? Then you have electronic audit. So this is chronology of section from 3 to 7A. Digital signatures. And there is another section. You can just keep a note of it. The section is 3 capital A. The section is there. The requisite technology framework is being put in place. The purpose of the section 3 and 3A are same. The idea is to create a drop-down technology for high usage of electronic signature. So they serve 3 and 3A are for signing the documents electronically, but the technology infrastructure is different. Section 3 is already in place. Section 3A is the regulation rules are being defined. So just remember this. Yes, in fact, e-audit is mandate in law now. So the rules, regulations, and who has to get his or their accounts e-audited, that is not there, but practically e-audit is already being done. Those who, because you are young and you have started your CA journey right now, those of you who are going to a CA office for articleship, those of you who has a senior CA whom you can talk to, then they will tell you that during March 2020 and March 2021, 90% of all bank audit was done electronically only. The members of the profession did not physically go to the bank branch. They logged in from a location and all audit was done online. So e-audit is already there. It has not been mandated by law. There is no specific mandate right now that this organization needs to get itself e-audited, but the technology is then it is actually being used. So even if law doesn't mandate, people are still going for e-audit because it saves a lot of cost, comfort, convenience, everything is there. The key issue in audit is security of data. So that this service you, so suppose I'm a chartered accountant doing e-audit, whatever information I collect, I need to ensure it is secured. So that is one core aspect that has to be looked into. Rest, it is all put in place. Harshit, section 3 is the technology for creating digital signatures and section 5 is affixing digital signatures. They are absolutely, the whole idea about hash function, message digest is section 3, how you create digital signature. Section 5 is affixing digital signatures. Okay. So I thought rather than reading only 3, 4, let us read more than those sections. Okay. Then section 35 is about CAs, certifying authorities who have been licensed in India to issue digital signatures. So they are also there. So this digital signature. Section 6, I have talked about e-filing. Then section 14. So see, please understand, this is important for exam purpose because many questions are asked on these sections in MCQs. Okay. Then section 14 of the Act relates to secure electronic record and provides that where any security procedures has been applied to electronic record at a specific point of time, then such record shall be deemed to be secure record. So the point you affix your digital signatures, from that point it falls in category of a secured record till the point of verification. Then section 15 provides for security procedures to be applied to digital signatures for being treated as secure digital signatures. Good. The validation. Now I want you to remember one more section. So we have read, so see in the module we have section 4, 3, 30, so 4, 3, 35, 6, 14 and 15. Okay. So roughly 6 sections are there, but we have read more. So we have read 3, 3A, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7A. Then 35, 14, 15. And I want you to remember one more section, very important. I'm writing it, please keep a note of it. Section 43A. This is the latest Digital Protection Data Bill, DPDP, Digital Privacy and Data Protection Bill that has been put in Parliament. Now, the source lies of that in section 43A. What exactly is section 43A? So 43A talks about that it says that where any entity has collected data from its customers, then responsibility of keeping that data secure is with the entity. So suppose I am a bank and I have got say 1 crore saving bank account holder, and out of those 1 crore saving bank account holder, 10 lakh of my customers do net banking. So I have created a separate net banking database for them where their passwords are stored in a secured mode. Then it is my responsibility to ensure that the password server is secure. If hacker hacks into the password server, takes away the 10 lakh passwords and misuses those passwords, and through misuse, the hacker is able to incur loss to my customers. I am the bank. Then responsibility of making good that loss to the customer will be of whom? Banker. That is section 43A. Very important. So we have read more than what is here, but all of these are important and in a logical sequence. Do carry these sections with you. They are part of your syllabus. This chapter, other chapters, audit, accounting, all locations. So please keep this. And this is very important. So these are source of many multiple choice questions in examination. So we'll go to the PPT. Then Reserve Bank of India Act, and what is the purpose it wishes to achieve. Now, so Reserve Bank of India from time to time frames guidelines to be followed by e-commerce merchants, allowing online payments through various modes. The merchant needs to comply with these guidelines. Now, in fact, okay, I want you to tell me in the chat box any recent Reserve Bank of India guideline that you have been able to go through regarding online transactions. We have talked about those. Okay. Consider the following example. First, the conversion of all debit cards and credit cards to be made chip-based. An OTP pin for all transactions done on point of sale machines through debit or credit cards. A compliance with capital adequacy norms for payment wallets like SBI, Buddy, Paytm. So I want you to say more on, you must have found something. And this example we have already talked about. In fact, someone did say that soap is delivered against a mobile phone. So this we are not going through. Then forces behind e-commerce revolution. So let us look to your answers on the question. Yeah, change on payment through UPI, customer complaints, action on customer complaints. Very good. So proliferation of mobile. What has enabled all this e-commerce? What are the enabling factors of this? So what I basically want, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 factors listed. I want you to add one more. Why this e-commerce revolution is the way it is, other than this seven. Give me seconds. Okay. So I've got few answers. The introduction of small finance bank, good. That was for the previous question. Introduction of payment bank, that is also good. Then for beyond this, ease of transaction, good. So see, technology has been a great enabler. The way we are using it in India per se, good. So proliferation of mobile devices, proliferation means huge use. I think we have talked about just for at a cost of repetition. We did talk about in our day one lecture, day one first hour, the number of registered mobile numbers we have in India. भारत में कितने रजिस्टर्ड मोबाइल नंबर है, ये सवाल मैंने पहले पूछा है. प्लीज ट्राई टू आंसर दैट. Then convergence of mobile telecommunication network and internet. Yes, in fact, your mobile has become everything. The social networking itself, biometrics, AI, artificial intelligence, predictive analysis. Yes, what the customer wants, what he is buying, which factors guide the customer, how customers buying decision is being affected, who are the influencers of the buying decision of the customer. Phenomenal. Then support of the information technology governing laws. And then you have got feedback on ease of transaction. Then Prithvi says customer satisfaction. Good. So this is how this revolution has been brought. Then before we start digital payments, let us take the MCQ for the day. Okay. Just give me a second. Yeah. So we are going to take MCQ, but so Hashit says 3 billion. And then Kriti says 500 million. So our population is 140 crores, 1.4 billion. So the registered mobile numbers are roughly 1.2 billion. If I convert that into millions, so that will be 1 to, yeah. So Kriti, your answer is 50 crores. It's 120 crores. That is. Just understand, imagine proliferation of networks. That is all. So let us take the questions. You'll answer question 1, A, B, C, D like that. Great. So 1D, Darshan, Harshit, Rajiv Kumar Singh, Prithvi, Sunil Kumar, Shivranjani, Sahu SK. All correct. No, Sahu SK, D. Others are risk. D is like a feature. The question was other than this. Now question 2. Great. Let us refresh. We had 2 correct answers. Yeah, all are correct. So we have Harshit, Darshan, Shivranjani, Komal. Correct. So what you will do, the answer will have, so you can link say 1A, 2B. That is how you can answer. 1A, 2B, 3C, 4D, like that. Take your time. I am not hurrying. Okay. So we have so let us take the answer. Just one more second to allow you to more than one answer. Now I'm so 1D, convenience, e-business benefit to user. 2A, increase customer base, e-business benefit to business. 3B, dynamic load balancing, 3-tier system. A very specific question. And 4th, environment friendly digital payments. Great. We do try to take these examples. So I'll read those of you answered. Darshan, Prithvi, Harshit, Komal. Good. Take time. Good. So 2 answers we have got. Yes. Dash and Prithvi, both correct. This was easy. Harshit also correct. Rajiv Kumar Singh correct. Good. Then Komal was also correct. Sunil Kumar correct for question 4. Now question 5. One answer we have got. Let us wait for at least one more. Yeah, we have got 2 answers. So let us see. Which business model of e-commerce supports the activities within customer chain that generally focuses on sales side activities of online retailers? So it's directly defined there. Good. 5B. So this is 5C, sorry. Consumer to business. OLX, we did talk about that. Okay. So we'll go back to our slide. Here. Now, so today will be more of an introduction. We have been talking about digital payments with live examples. So to that extent, you are clear. So see, this topic, the topic itself is a good topic for getting good marks in MCQ. We have talked about a lot of practical examples on digital payments. So let us take one by one. So we have to take the diagram from the module to start. So we'll be talking about introduction, new methods, traditional method, advantages, drawbacks of digital payments. Then the new methods of payment includes UPI app. We'll be taking in detail. Let us do the diagram first. Mobile wallets, AEPS, Aadhaar enabled payment systems. Let us go to the module for diagram. So here are digital payments and traditional modes of payment. So we'll be taking that. So diagram is this representation of Bheem app, then other UPI app. Then we have this mobile wallets, SBI Buddy, Paytms. Okay. So UPI app, immediate payment system, mobile apps, mobile wallets, Aadhaar enabled payment systems. Then unstructured supplementary service data, this USSD. Now you have to tell me where you use it. It's a direct question in examination. Where USSD? What is the unique feature of USSD? Who can use it? You have to answer who is going to be the valid user or for whom this technique is intended. Very important. USSD. Then uh, mobile banking, cryptocurrency, e-rupee. So the physical presentation. Now, new methods. The names are there. We'll be talking about each of them, starting with traditional methods of payments. So cards, credit cards, debit cards, smart cards, internet banking. So why you call, see today cash, you don't want to say traditional. Payment by check, you don't want to say traditional. Traditional means these methods of payment have been in existence since last 25 years. Okay. So these becomes traditional. New methods will be all application based payments. Those becomes new methods of payment. So let us review the methods from mobile. We'll do a fast run through that. So traditional method, card based. Credit cards, you know, so I'm not discussing them. Then there's a separate discussion we are going to have in chapter 5 also on credit cards. So we know credit cards, nothing to share on that. You know debit cards. The core difference between credit card, debit card is your debit card is linked to your bank account. So whenever you make a payment, immediately the amount is debited to your bank account. In case of credit card, you get a credit period, say 45 days. So within the time frame of 45 days, you have to make payment to the credit card banker who has provided you the credit card. So that is why the name is also there. Debit card, immediate debit. It hits your account, your cash flow immediately. Credit card is going to hit your cash flow for the credit period allowed by the issuer of the credit card, generally 45 days. And smart cards are prepaid cards similar to credit cards and debit cards in appearance. They also have a microchip embedded in that. So smart cards could be like those gift cards, prepaid cards, having a maximum value payment associated with them. They become smart cards. And internet banking, people make payment on net banking. Now coming to new methods of payment, UPI is a revolution. We have talked about it a lot. Unified payment system and retail payment banks are changing the way the banking is doing. In fact, it has already changed now. Now the world is, we already have an agreement in place with UAE. It is already in working with Singapore. I just read a news. Then there are other countries also who are showing interest in having our UPI interface. So it is a revolution that is taking world by storm now. UPI is a system. And again, see, few things are going to be good for your MCQ. This is one of the topic that you are reading. Many questions in examination come from this. Okay. So UPI is a system that powers multiple bank accounts, several banking features like fund transfer, merchant payments in a single mobile application you can do through UPI. In fact, government is enabling. In fact, I just read a news report 2 days back that UPI, the scanning. So right now you're scanning a QR code for making you, that has revolutionized the way people are using UPI. So government is thinking more UPI enabled debit credit cards like that. A lot of things are coming up. Okay. It can be used 24 hours even on public holidays. Just keep a tag of it. Huh? These are the words that you must remember. You need not have suppose you want to do a check payment. It can only be done on a bank working day. UPI is always 24/7 available. So UPI payment. Then IMPS, immediate payments, instant interbank transaction, where you transfer funds immediately to the recipient's bank account. Then BHIM, Bharat Interface for Money, is a mobile-based payment. It is based on UPI. Just keep a tag of it. It can be a direct question. BHIM. So what is the platform on which BHIM works? It works on a UPI platform. Then mobile wallets, you know about this. Okay. So I think let us run through let us have an extension of 4-5 minutes. Okay. Then mobile wallets or e-wallets, but a digital version of physical real life. The examples, you know, SBI and all those. So whenever you make two, then you have to put your 4-digit PIN number to execute the transaction. AEPS, all this government subsidies, are basically transferred to AEPS, Aadhaar Enable Payment System. Right, as of now, as I know, this AEPS is used by government. Whether private entities are using, that is not in my knowledge, but it is being used by government for transferring subsidies to the beneficiaries. Then USSD, no, I did ask you USD. It is basically a feature phone based. You can do it through a SMS. That was the question I asked you. And mobile banking, cryptocurrency, let us not do today. So I think when we meet day after, we'll start from cryptocurrency, but that is a topic that you want to know more about. And I also want to share more, but there are questions. UPI is in France also. Great. Difference, no, Shivranjani, Beam is the application, the base is UPI. So Beam works on UPI. So the top end is Beam, the support system is UPI. So they are linked. There's no difference like that. So thank you for bearing with me. We'll keep this on. So we'll meet day after tomorrow. So we are closing. So we'll start with this one. I don't want to rush through this. Yeah. So we are stopping. Closing.